if I'm going to continue to live under this pressure of perfectionism and under this, blanket, I'm going to live a way that could be undeserving for my kid.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Welcome. It's Dr. Mrs. Mom. As you can see, I have a guest today. I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm so honored to be here.
Oh, you're so kind. You're so kind. But yeah, so I'm going to start. I want to introduce Sarah, but like not in the random way where it's like, tell me about yourself. So Sarah, I have some questions.
Oh, yeah. Tell me.
They are rapid fire.
Oh, okay.
Okay, ready?
I don't know.
This is easy. Coffee or tea?
Coffee all day, baby.
Listen, how do you like your coffee?
Black if it's good.
Okay.
If I'm getting like a specialty drink, I want a flat white.
Okay.
But if I'm just, you're making me a roast and it's a good roast, I want it black.
Okay. We'll be praying for Sarah in the comments. Morning quiet time or night quiet time?
Morning quiet time.
Okay. Leading worship with keys or without keys?
Okay, I knew you wanted this to be rapid fire. I feel like it just is dependent on the season of life for me. When I want to just be personally intimate with the Lord, I need to be with my instrument because I can just go and flow.
Yeah.
But recently leading corporate, probably in the last 3 years, I prefer to lead without because I can really like engage with people.
Makes sense.
And I don't feel like I'm double-minded in the sense of like thinking about what I'm playing. And
Yeah. Okay. Describe your ideal road trip.
Oh.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
Where are you
What am I?
stopping?
I'm probably going somewhere really far. Take me to the south.
Okay.
And I'm stopping all the way for food. Like when I get in the car to go on a road trip, once I get in the car, this is an experience.
Okay.
So we're not just to get to the point.
Yeah,
Don't come in the car with me if you're just trying to get to the point. Take the flight. If you're coming in the car with me.
Sarah said, we're doing 3 connecting flights. This is not a direct flight situation.
I'm like, so I want to stop. I want to like experience. I don't necessarily want to get pictures with all the signs. Like I'm not that girl.
Okay.
But I'm the girl that's like, we're going to hit the Cracker Barrel. That we have things we got to do along the way. And we're going to laugh. And, you see something and you want to stop. We're going to stop.
Okay. I love that.
I think I'm an experience girly. Like overall, I want everybody that's with me to have an experience, to feel an experience. So that's going to connect to my road trips too. And we're jamming out hard.
No. Okay. I was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's good music on.
Okay. So I wanted to do that because I think in answering those questions, you've kind of told people a little bit about yourself.
Yes.
Sarah is a mom. And so in light of that, what is the funniest thing your toddler has done in the past week or two?
Oh my goodness. Okay, let me think. My toddler is hilarious. And in this stage, we're 4. So we're like, got an opinion.
Yes.
We're strong. Yeah. Probably in the last week, it's been him telling me he can just drive himself where he needs to go. Like he doesn't really, like he needs me to be his mom.
Right.
But he's good. Just give me the keys, Mom. I got it.
So is it because he has places to be?
I think he just like he's a go-getter kind of personality. So we make agendas.
Okay.
So we talk about what we want to do. We put it in our calendar. I'm like type A kind of girl. Okay. So I'll just really expose myself in this podcast. But I have like a calendar and everything's color coordinated and organized. And so he's been exposed to that his whole life, right? Is seeing a mom that's like got order and structure. So now he's like, oh, I'm going to do the same thing. But he likes to go ahead and make his plan and then inform his mother of said plan.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, let's just remember who's the boss here. Okay? So I had to put him in charge. I'm like, babe, you can't drive.
No.
So what do you think? Oh, I can. I'll be good. I'm good.
Not I'll be
It's
good.
the confidence for me. And you know what?
We encourage confidence.
We do. And we're raising kids that we want to be bold and fierce and all these things. It's just, I want him to be strong and I want him to be a strong leader. But I'm just got to like tilt it a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's really got a lot of...
That's good. I was going to ask a different question, but I think I'm going to ask this since we're here.
Yeah, go for it.
So when you became a mom, I guess a couple of things. What was your initial thought of what motherhood was going to look like for you?
Right.
Yeah, so maybe let's answer that and then I'll ask you the next one.
I think hence what I've said earlier, I'm like strong, independent kind of person. So I really thought I was just going to like war through motherhood like I did in every other season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 10 toes deep, we're just going to grind and go.
Yeah.
And there is a part of that to motherhood. But what I realized with motherhood is you need people.
Yeah.
You need community.
Oh my God.
You need to build a family around you to raise your kids with. And so, but I don't always like to do that. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to, like, I'll come have coffee with you, but I just want to keep going. And I think what I've learned is, like, when my mom told me it takes a village to raise a kid, it really does. And it's so biblical.
Yep.
And when I came into alignment with that and stopped, like, fighting the independent warrior thing that's on the inside of me, and it changed the game for me. So I think I definitely had a different perspective. And all of a sudden you, like, give birth and you're kind of delusional, you're sleep deprived, and you don't feel like yourself.
No.
And I also think I had to rest in the season, and especially in the early stages of becoming a mom, rest in the season that it was.
Yeah.
And not fight to be out of it.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so good.
And I think sometimes, we're moms, so we get this and we talk to other moms, and it's like, stop rushing the season because you're not going to get it back.
You're not.
And it's not out of guilt. It's really out of the truth found in, can you be present? Can you fully be present in this moment with your toddler and not be thinking about the next season? Okay, but when they're 5 and when they can, I remember, like, having these thoughts like, oh, I can't wait till, like, they can do their own buckle up because this is annoying. And in real life, but I realized when we're constantly wishing ourselves out of a season that we so prayed for.
Yeah, come on.
We're kind of trying to return a gift God gave us. So it's definitely, I'm not perfect at it, and I don't think any of us are, but we need to be reminded to be present when we're on the floor playing Lego, when we're doing the things and we're like, this is like, can you not just get it?
Yeah.
And enjoy that season, and I know I'll never get 4-year-old Kai back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right now I'm going to live and I'm going to appreciate and I'm going to soak it up. And what I also feel like I pivoted. I turned from, like, wishing for him to be in the next stage into praying in my personal time for him in that next stage. So if you can shift the energy, right? And then I began to, like, declare.
Girl.
When you're 6, you will buckle your seat in the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
But right now I'm okay to do it. And I'm happy to do it. So.
Yeah. No, does she just preach her whole sermon or what? No, it's so true. I think, and that applies to everyday life, right?
Yes.
God puts you in a season, and no matter how difficult or tough or whatever you want to say that season is a gift.
It is a gift.
And so it's like, what are you doing with your gift right now? Are you wishing it away, like you just said?
And then you're like, the truth of the matter is, in life, and this is for motherhood, it's for every season of life, what you don't deal with in this season, you will see in another one. And, I don't want to see the backside of this mountain because I wasn't present, didn't pick up the treasure, didn't, do the right things in this season.
Yeah.
And we're all going to learn, and there's grace in all of that. And I think, none of this is to make people to feel guilty for the way they didn't manage, but it's to pick up today and to do over today.
Come on.
And just start now. You know what, God, I'm sorry if I tried to rush out of something, and today I'm going to choose to be present. And help me. Help me be present today. Help my mind, my will, and my emotions.
I don't even know where we're going from here, friends, because
only way's up, baby.
I don't need these questions. What is happening? Okay, so I do want to touch on something, because I think a lot of moms, right, like, especially when you are a first-time mom, you want to do everything so perfect.
So perfect.
Right? Like, you read the books, you hear the things, and it's just like, this is what you do, and you want to have the model child. And it's like, where do we get these crazy ideas from?
I know.
But I want to ask this question from someone who is a PK.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, gosh.
Because I think the same idea of a notion of being perfect and wanting to appear and look a certain type of way can be similar to this perfectionism that we chase in motherhood as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So can you give, from your perspective, maybe one as a PK, because we had a conversation, when was that switch for you? It's like, I'm not living for anybody. Like, when did that switch happen for you? And how has that carried you through motherhood?
Yeah, I'll say that switch, the confidence of the switch really came in the season of being a mother for me. Wow. Like, I feel like I had it click earlier. I kind of have a unique journey, obviously being a pastor's kid, but got kind of launched into worship ministry really young. So I always lived an experience older than I was. You know what I mean? So I'm like 14, 15, 16, hanging around with 28, 29, 30-year-olds because I was in that world, you know? So I always felt a little bit older. So I think that it started to click in my, early 20s a little bit, where I was like, okay, wait a second. No, I don't feel called to that. What am I doing? Who am I doing this for? You know? And no longer, and building, and I think a lot of it comes from building a strong relationship unto the Lord with yourself, where you can begin to ask him, come on, what are you calling me to? Not anybody else's, and I appreciate accountability. I appreciate mothers and fathers in my life. I appreciate it all. But I felt like with being a PK, I mean, no matter how great your parents are, it's still there, because you want to appear one way and one way only. So I'll say, once I became a mom, I was like, whoa, if I'm going to continue to live under this pressure of perfectionism and under this, blanket, I'm going to live a way that could be undeserving for my kid.
Yeah.
And so and personally, I had to go like work through it. Yeah. Personally, and just seek mentorship, seek a little bit of therapy to like kind of help me loose this thing. And I'll be honest, like in 2019, I was diagnosed OCD, and a lot of my life made sense.
Why do you say that?
Because I realized my whole life I was told I was disciplined and organized, and then I realized that there was also a little bit of fear attached to that, because like OCD is attached to it's like an anxiety disorder, right? And I have like a mild case. I wouldn't say I know there's some people that are really, it's intense. And for me, it was more mild. But what I realized is there was like a fear attached to how I presented in the order I presented myself. So I really had to do work to deal with that. Yeah. And so becoming a mom really kind of like exposed some of these things in my heart that I didn't even know were really there. So that's kind of where that started to click. And being a mom, though, I'll say, it's still embarrassing when your kid acts a different way than you want in public. Like I've gotten better at it, but I'll say sometimes I'm like, that can't be my kid. That's not my kid.
Like, I promise you at home.
Let me film and I'll post it in this group chat so we all know my kid ain't be doing that at home. No, but for real. Yeah. But I realized also just like letting your kid be a kid. And same with the wishing away season. Sometimes we expect them to be older than they are. We put them in situations where we expect them to perform different. Yeah. And we're like, come on, be better. We're at church. Yeah. Or fill in the blank. We're at grandpa's birthday dinner, whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, wait a second. He's 3. He is 2. And it's past his bedtime. And what am I doing?
Yeah. Living the reality. Y'all.
I'm telling you. So
set yourself free.
Set yourself free. I do feel like it's still a journey. Yeah. And I still got to check myself and be like, hey, wait a second. Who's putting this pressure on me?
Yeah, that's good.
Because it's not the king.
No.
He says, come as you are. I want to bring my best. I want to raise the best son I can raise. And I know, you feel the same way. We want to do our best. We want to put in our best. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't want him to feel an unnecessary level of pressure that causes him to, 1, maybe grow up too fast, or 2, be somebody he's not meant to be.
Yeah. Oh, Sarah.
But we still discipline our kids. Don't get me wrong. I'm still telling my kid no, but I'm just trying to find the rhythm.
Balance of that. And I think it's so true. You're so spot on. We can't, I said this in a previous episode. I said, your children are people and they have a will. And they have a purpose. Yes. And I think sometimes in our bid to, curate this perfect child, like it's a timeline on social media. Right. We begin to mold them into people they were never called or destined to be. And so I think this is a reality check for any mom, any dads, if you're watching, aunties, to just be like, listen, these kids are people and God sent them here on a mission. Yes. And so how are you in your disciplining? How are you in the way that you're trying to mold them into who, or steward whoever they are? How are you taking that and keeping that in mind? So it's really good.
And I think too, we are bloodline breakers for our children. Come on. We are the gate to them at this season. If they're under 18, you're the gate as a mother and a father in their life. Yeah. You're the door. Yeah. So I've also learned personally what I don't deal with in my life, I will portray, manifest, release over them out of fear, out of insecurity, out of, and so I started to take authority over things and, just this will not transfer to my kid.
Yeah, come on.
It doesn't have to. And so I say no. you know? And you don't have to make it some big thing. It's just in your simple, when you catch yourself like, wait, why am I putting that on them? Why am I expecting this from them? Is it because of something? Sometimes it's just because, you know, we want the perfection thing. But sometimes it's because, wait a second, I need to do some self-reflection and realize, is there something from my child? Is there something from my heart? Is there something that God's revealing to me?
Yeah, come on.
To uproot, to break in my bloodline so it doesn't pass on.
Come on.
You know?
Good.
And I know it's like deep and serious, but I think it's so important. If we as moms can take the authority God gave us and activate it over our children. And I don't make it, like I said, you don't have to make this weird thing. It's just an everyday practice. God revealed to me things you want to uproot, things that you want to heal in me so I can be the best mom, so I can release greater things over their destiny, over their purpose, and raise them up into who they're called to be.
That was my next question. Practical tips. You got it. Sarah Maracle, ladies and gentlemen. So you have alluded to this. You said you had a crazy, like, coming into the worship ministry story.
Yeah.
Can you share like an abridged version for the people just so that they understand? Because I think there are people who are going to watch this. They're not moms. But I think you have so much value in that you're a mom and you're a worship leader and you own a business and you have all these other things.
Right.
So I want everyone to be able to get the fullness that we can in the little, few minutes that we have. Here. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'll say I was raised in a home, and I think this is important, that demonstrated the presence of the Lord and seeking the Lord. And so from a young age, it was modeled to me to like have personal encounter with Jesus. Okay. So this is what birthed worship for me is, I had a dream. I was 12 years old. I had an encounter with the Lord. He asked me to do 72 days of worship. It was so random. I wasn't a worship leader. I didn't play the piano. I was just a kid pretty much that loved Jesus and wanted to be in his will.
Yeah.
That was my heart's posture. So he encountered me. I have this visitation. He asked me to do 72 days of worship. I had no idea what it meant and I had no idea where to begin. So I reached out to somebody I knew that was a worship leader and I was like, what do I do with this? And between her and my parents, they were like, steward the word. So I did that my whole summer break. I every day walked to my parents' church, sat at a piano, and just sang unto the Lord for 72 days. It was out of obedience.
Yeah.
And in my encounter, the Lord said, and watch what I will do. And watch what I will do. So I sat in expectation. I was obedient to the word and I sat in expectation. And day 74, the world began to open up to me. I started leading corporate worship. That spring, I went to LA for the first time. And since then, it's now been, this is year 15 of leading corporate worship, stewarding the sound, working with worship leaders, musicians, and teaching on worship and cultivating that he would get everything he came here and died for.
Yeah.
And I love Jesus with my whole heart.
Yeah.
And I want to live a life that opens encounters for other people. The same encounter I had was made available to me because it was modeled to me.
Yeah.
So now I feel like as a worship leader, I want to live a life that opens encounters for people.
Come on.
Where they can have that same encounter I had, where God calls them to do the thing that they never thought they would do.
Yeah. You said something that was so important in the beginning. You said, you never played, you never led. Yeah. But you had, or you were in contact with someone who was a worship leader who could. Can you talk a little bit about the networking, discipleship part of being a worship leader? Because sometimes I think we just think it's about singing.
Girl.
And it's so much more than just like.
Actually, I would say it's less about singing.
Come on. Yeah.
I think, first of all, in anything, it's obedience.
Come on.
What is God asking of me in this season? And when we're talking about worship, you need to ask the Lord in this season, what's God calling me to in worship? Okay. And then it's about stewarding the gift that God gave you. And stewarding doesn't mean just sitting at home and trying to manifest something in my life. It is prayer. It is personal intimacy. It's all those things. But I'll say mentorship in this area of your life is what transformed it for me.
Come on.
I sought it out. Don't sit at home and expect a mentor to come find you and raise you up.
Yeah,
you go and you serve.
Yeah.
That's what it is always first. So when I reached out to this worship leader in my story, I was like, can you help me? And she was like, absolutely. I started to serve in her business. I served on her worship team. I went and got the water for her. I went and did the thing for her. I helped with her kids. So I began to sow seeds. I remember hearing that trip I went to LA, a minister said, sow where you want to go.
Come on.
So that's been my life. And I'll say that's what the precept upon precept, glory upon glory in this area of my life has been through seeds.
Yeah.
Seeds.
Yeah.
Seeds. Seeds when I don't see it. Seeds
on.
when I don't feel like
Come
it.
on.
Sowing when I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's out of obedience because I know it works. His principle of the sower and the reaper, it is as true today as it was then. And it's not only about your finances. It's about how you live your life, the posture in which you live your life. And you open yourself up.
Yeah. This is so good.
And when you get under a mantle and you serve a mantle and you honor a man or woman of God as they steward their gift, you will receive.
Yeah.
And we don't do it because of that, but that is just
it's
the evidence of
principle.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just how it works.
So I'll
That's
say
good.
her gift was very much like prophetic worship, you know? She was a profound worship leader led all over the world. But she had this gift to just flow. I'll say I carry that today because the people I served under.
Come on.
And what I was exposed to. Obviously, I cultivated it in my personal time, intimacy, sitting at and working on my craft outside of serving her.
Yeah.
But that was the game changer.
Yeah. The seed. Like, I don't know that we would ever stress this enough. I think sometimes, even now, so many people are so quick to want to pick up the mic.
Yeah.
So quick to want to be the one who's in the forefront. But the seeds that you sow now, when you reap them, those are the things that will keep you on that stage. Because at the end of the day, like you said, it's about obedience to Christ.
Yeah.
Christ is the center of what you're doing. So you're not looking at the next person. You're not trying to impress the next person. Someone walks in the room. Who cares? You're here to worship Christ. But you've sowed seeds that will maintain your focus on where it needs to be at all times.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And
Sarah?
people who get the platform without the foundation, inevitably, I'll tell you now, there will be an end date.
Yes.
And it won't be like, God will just got to work some things out of you. So if you can build the foundation now, I'm going to sow the seeds. I'm going to steward. I'm going to honor.
Yeah.
And I'm going to build. And just watch what he'll do.
Yeah.
Just watch what he'll do. If you're in the right place at the right time because you're obedient and you practice this, I'm telling you, God will begin to open doors. Like in my life, my story doesn't make sense except Jesus.
Come on.
And when for a little while ago, like years ago, I think I would have struggled more of like, I wanted to be able to explain it to people. I wanted to be able to justify who I am to people. But I realized actually this is better because he gets all the glory.
Yeah.
He gets all the praise. I didn't make it happen.
Yeah.
I don't deserve it. And I sure didn't earn it.
Yeah, that's good.
But out of obedience, I just,
Yeah.
and he waters.
Okay.
And he builds.
This is, I don't know. I hope you guys feel like very encouraged. I hope you are because I am listening to this. To wrap this up, if you were to give a word of encouragement to anyone who's watching this, who is in a season of life where they're still like wrestling with, who am I? What am I called to do? What am I doing? What would you say to encourage that person, especially if they're a mom?
Yeah, I would say, don't give up. I think first. I think it's so easy to get to the place where I'm just going to throw in the towel. Yeah. And practically, I would say, go back to the last word you confidently heard from God. Whether personally or prophetically from another minister. Go back to the last word and begin to war with the word over your life.
What does that mean?
It means take what God said to you. Like, and I think sometimes it's like a promise he gave you. It could be something in the still small voice, like, and begin to take that word and pray that word into today. God, you said, so I'm just obedient to pray.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by war with the word. Take the word and begin to apply it.
Yeah.
And be reminded of his goodness, that he does speak to you, that he has called you, that he has a purpose for you. And I think sometimes when we can go back and be reminded of those things, and if maybe you're watching and you don't have that experience, you haven't had that experience, I welcome you to a fresh encounter with God today. I think that we can seek him today exactly where we're at. If we're sitting on the floor, changing diapers, we just begin to invite him in that space. I remember being, a mom, and it was like the nights of like sleep regression. Like, so God help you if that's the season you're in. And you're like, I haven't slept. I feel lonely. I feel exhausted. And I don't see any part of my call right now manifested in my life. And I would just begin to invite him. God, can you just come meet me in my mess?
Yeah.
Meet me in this space and encourage me. So when you can invite the Holy Spirit to come into your spaces, exactly where you are, and ask him to show you, reveal to you today, and be reminded. I think, it's the goodness of God that draws us back.
Yeah.
And he's all around. He's all around us. He's in this room with us. He's in your room, your car, wherever you're listening to this. He's with you. Yeah. And he wants to minister to you.
Yes.
For one reason, because he loves you.
Yeah.
It's not because he wants you to perform, be a certain person. He just loves you. So that's what I would encourage him with today.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for being here. Again, in the comments, if this has encouraged you, blessed you, like Sarah has said things that really relate to you, please write them down in the comments. Cannot wait to engage with you there. See you guys in the next one.
Yeah. Bye.